Hey everyone, welcome to GMIHub Online. So good to have you join us once again. I am Cheryl Dewick, your host, and today is going to be a very, very exciting and interesting conversation. We have got four families together, and they're going to be talking about music ministry and how they make their how they work music ministry with their families. More important though is that their families are in the music ministry as well. So we're going to be looking into that. So how music ministry and family work. I want to introduce our co-host though before I bring the families in. Dale Borland. Dale, are you there?
I certainly am. I'm so glad that we're doing this tonight. It's going to be so much fun. Hey, let me just remind those who are just joining us at GMI Hub Online, thank you for doing that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate those of you who subscribe to our channel. It means so much to us. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell, if I can get it saying. Okay, so and also like the video too, because that way it helps us to know that you guys are appreciating what we're doing. And also, I need to let you know about our website, .ca. Now, GMIHub.ca is a website you can go to find out more about the GMI Hub. Now, the GMI Hub has got many great things on there. You can go and take a look. But one thing I like to just highlight is that we have a compilation program coming up, project for Christmas. And what this means is if you're a songwriter or you're someone who likes to write music and you do have some songs that are Christmas songs, and you would like to submit them for our compilation, the Christmas compilation, we'd love to have you take part in that. Now, Family Christmas Volume 3 is this project. We've done 2 before this in the previous Christmases. So we're really looking forward to this one and your submission. By July 31st, get your song in and you can get on our compilation CD. Go on to gmihub.ca and just submit your song there, gmihub.ca. And now, let's get to our family music.
Well, today I am excited and I mentioned before, four families in ministry with they package gospel music in the style of music that they are called to do that. And God is just blessing them in many, many ways. And we just want to have a chat with them on how they manage the music scene and how they manage the family scene. First up, we have all the way from Saskatchewan, we have Canada's Double Portion, represented by Duncan and his wife. I want to say Debbie. Did I say her name right? Hammerling. They are from North Battleford, Saskatchewan. They have a 5-piece gospel band made up of the parents. Sorry, Duncan and Debbie. 7 of their 10 children, and sometimes their grandchildren, I think, pop into. The past 2 years has certainly brought a change in full-time ministry, but God is opening doors for them as well. And this year actually marks 40 years in ministry, 40 years for this family. And we're going to learn more about how they started, but we want to welcome Duncan and Debbie Hammerling. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yay.
And we have to unmute your mic, but I did read your lips.
Oh, is it?
There you go. I can hear you now.
There you are. You're back.
Always. Awesome. Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Great.
Awesome. So glad you're able to come. Also hailing from Florida, we have a young group, Gold Frankincense Myrrh. What a cool name, the GFM band. These are 3 sisters that they package the gospel music using rock and heavy metal it's called I just forgot the name now. Oh gosh. They have a different way of packaging their music, but it is so effective. And they're not your average teenage band. They're sisters, they're heavy, they're loud, they're triumphant in what they do, but they're a band of faith, and they are being noticed. That is for sure. They're being noticed. They were on their song Taking Over was #1 on the Christian Music Weekly charts for 4 weeks in a row. Their song Graveyard of Identities was #6 on the Billboard Christian Rock charts. Their song On the Inside was #9 on the Billboard Christian Rock charts. and now they've been discovered by a wrestling phenomenon, Chris Jericho, and they're going to be going on tour starting this weekend. So we want to welcome GFM, which is Maggie, CJ, and Lulu. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
That's cool.
So glad to have you with us.
Thank you for having us.
Go tour? This is you going on tour with Chris Jericho? That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, so we just finished a spring tour with him, and we're going back out with him in the fall. So we're excited.
Nice. Oh man. Cool.
They are. So we have more families. We have more families. So I'm gonna introduce next Kevin Adams. I don't know if his wife Crystal is beside him, but Kevin Adams and his wife lead Kevin Adams and Voices of Praise. They're a praise and worship ministry that strives to be cultured and diverse, but not limited to denominations or nations or race. Yes, adult contemporary style. They also do it in Caribbean style. They just kind of cross all genres. And here's a sample of them singing. Kevin Adams and Voices of Praise hail from basically Maple or Toronto, Ontario, the greater Toronto area. We want to welcome Kevin.
Hi,
Welcome,
everybody. How are you
Kevin.
doing?
So good to have you with us. And we have one other family. I'm not sure if they're there yet, but we have one other family called W10. I don't know if they're here, but that is a family, the Williams family. They are a family of 10 siblings. 10 siblings. Anointed vocal group consists. They're from the Toronto area. They're children of the Bishop and late Williams Ebenezer of the Ebenezer Pentecostal Church in Toronto. They began singing at an early age, and God's opened door for them to minister and sing in various places. They have original albums as well. They have an album called Family That Prays, which was released in February 2018. Can you imagine siblings, all siblings?
Yeah.
And that's
Looks like a lot of fun.
W10. It looks like a lot of fun. W10, are you here with us? Clive, welcome. So good to see you. Who's beside you?
This is my sister Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. Pleasure to see you. And I know the rest of the family's coming as well, I know. But
Oh,
so
yes.
good to see you all. Good
Yes,
to
thank you.
see you. Thank you so much for having
I
us, or
guess
for
one of the
joining us.
benefits of having such a large family is you always have one or two that can represent while everybody else gets together.
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So let's get on with some conversation here.
Yeah.
All of you, as I was saying before we went on air, the beautiful thing that I know about all of you is that you're all involved in the music scene, a gospel music scene, and yet you're able to incorporate your families the way you do, which I think is really, really awesome. In some ways, I'd almost want you to talk a little bit more about how that came about for you. Like, and Duncan, I'm going to start with you because I know your story's a little bit, like, it's quite unique. Like, as I said earlier, it's a bit generational, but can you expand on that? How did you start with the music, like getting into gospel music scene and your family being a part of that?
Well, the way it started is my father ministered on the First Nations reserves here in Saskatchewan, and so that's where we grew up in ministry. And then when Debbie and I got married, then she became part of our group. And so then as we began to have children, they would sit in the front row night after night after night and have to hear us sing, in concert. But they still loved music. And so as they got to a place where they were getting, being able to play, and we had openings come in the band, our oldest son became our drummer, and then our next son became our guitar player, and then our next daughter became our fiddle player, and our next son became a bass player, and so it just kind of went from there. And so they just grew up in it.
Wow. Now, do your grandchildren get involved too? Because sometimes it's really young ones in there.
Well, our youngest is is 10 years old right now. So our grandkids aren't involved in our group. Our second son, who has our grandkids, is a worship pastor. And we are anticipating our grandkids being involved in music for sure.
Wow, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. So how about GFM? Talk to us. Like this is the opposite end. Three girls, three sisters. Tell me, how did you get in the scene?
So it's kind of all over the place a little. So our first gigs we got from Craigslist because we wanted just to have some uh, play as much as possible and any exposure. And we were playing churches, our youth groups, and we wanted to play more general market areas because we really felt like our calling was just to talk to people like on the street or on festivals, and just being like Lulu was 7 years old. Like we were like, I want to play anything, and we were playing in the back of truck beds, and I think that's where it really started. And then we got discovered by 7 Day Slumber, and they were the ones that really trusted us in the beginning, and that was on our first tour, 2017. And that's when it really started, like the touring life, playing all over the US. And then we went overseas for the first time in 2018 in Germany. That was our first major festival. We were playing to like a theater of like 3,000 people. Yeah, it just really, it's a very big snowball effect. But yeah, it's really cool.
So were your parents part of this? Like did they play music as well and got you guys in music, or did you what was your inspiration?
Our parents,
They never played.
Yeah.
We our parents wanted us to start music when we were 4. They wanted us to play piano, and just kind of from there, we all chose different instruments and none of our family plays music, so that's why we always say it's a God-gifted talent, and it's what we believe God has called us to do, because it's not in like our family at all, and we all kind of just picked it up. And so we have gotten all of our support from our family, though, and our mom and dad actually get to go on tour with us. We all were in the tour bus when we went on tour with Fozzy, and our dad helps load in, and he'll do some like special effects and stuff if we headline. And then our mom's actually our manager, and she also helps book with our booking agent. So we have a whole family full of working in the music industry, so it's really fun.
That's
Well, that's
awesome.
good. You touched on a topic. Actually, I was just thinking about the responsibilities outside of the music or the singing. You've got other responsibilities that can be delegated as well. We'll talk more about that later, though.
Awesome. Okay, let's hear from Kevin. Kevin, are you there? How did this all start for you?
Well, since I was actually really young, I was singing on choirs and I was sang with a group called Heart to Heart back in the day. So I've always had mentors and leaders to learn from. And then eventually I decided to finally branch off around 2014 to do something else. And my wife and I started up Voices of Praise. I actually started Voices of Praise in 2002 in my high school. Yeah, we won. We were actually the first Black choir in New York region to win the Kiwanis Festival. So that was something great. But it's for me, it was from a young age. Then we started really going professionally, I say, in 2014, 15.
Okay. How much of the family, like, I know it's you and your wife. Now, are any other Voices of Praise relatives of you as well? Or is it just you and your wife as the relatives?
Well, my wife and I, we do the singing stuff, but my sister manages the team, right? And she's hard nosed, and she's like militant, right? Like she bosses me around. So,
Let me guess, she's the baby sister, right?
No. She's the oldest. I'm the
No.
baby. Yeah. So she tries to give me I'm the big sister, so you have to listen type of stuff, right?
I love it.
My mother is the prayer warrior of the team. So, I come from a Caribbean background. So my mom's waking up 3:00 in the morning and really praying and so forth. And I don't know. They didn't really my parents didn't really do much singing or anything like that. My mom led worship when she was back in Antigua. That was it. But I guess it really came from us. My wife's side of the family, they're heavy in music, right? So a lot of it came from them. Like she's our vocal director and vocal arranger, and she arranges all the harmonies and everything like that. I'm just the guy in front who just holds the microphone and looks good and administers up to the people, right? So, yeah, she's the architect behind the scenes. And then the kids now are coming up, and that's a whole different story now. So, yeah.
Wow. Any potential singers in that family and the little kids?
Oh yeah, all of them can sing. It's actually blowing my mind. All of them can sing, and all of them play instruments. And
Really?
my oldest is playing drums right now at church. He's coming up, and then my daughter, she like I have two daughters. I have four children. Yeah,
Okay.
so I have four children, and all of them are very. The two girls are really into the singing, and the two boys, they want to really beat on the drums. So it gets really loud in here. Yeah.
That's
We'd
cool.
fit right in.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, and finally, Clive, W10, talk to us. You have a family of 10. Oh, there's 3 of you now. Okay.
We're going.
And it's growing, it's growing.
Exactly. Yeah, our story is kind of similar, I guess, to all the previous stories. We all started at a young age, and I think with our father being the pastor, we, by default are in church singing, right? So typically the boys are playing the instruments and the girls are singing. We all at one point were singing together, and as we sort of grew older and sort of life took over, we all went into separate ways. The girls continued to sing, sang for a few choirs in Toronto, one of which was WAB, and some other choirs, and done some solo projects, some supporting projects with other artists. And then we decided to sort of collaborate and do something together as a family. I think at our father's 65th birthday was probably the first time in maybe 20 years that we all sang together. We did an a cappella piece there, and from there it was sort of like we should do this. So it's been an uphill battle. We have seen our share of trials, but we are so blessed to be in a position now that we're all together, and we have the next generation singing with us as well. And well, I manage a group, and our nephew is our producer, and our other nephews play the music and such. So we're all around sort of 360 family unit, doing this thing on a professional level. And yeah, so today we're in the position to launch our first album. We we have actually did already release two singles prior to this, but we're super excited because this summer is going to be sort of the fruits of our labor over the course of the past, I would say 6 to 8 years, where we're sort of putting together and sort of fighting some uphill battles. And the last few years have been pretty tough for us, as we lost some key members of our group, our eldest sister Opal, and our younger sister, well, me and Nicole's younger sister, and the rest of the groups, Denise. So this was all in a space of like 5 years, and our mother as well. We lost as well within the same space of that 4 to 5 year mark. So it's been tough, but we're resilient, and one of the main things that we hold steadfast to us and to our hearts and our minds is that we all decided to do this together, and we're going to see it through.
I was thinking about when there's more than one kind of individual with different talents and gifts, there must be some sort of challenges when deciding who does what, or finding those gaps that need to be filled. How do you deal with the situations where you have a certain amount of people and a certain amount of responsibilities that have to be done, and maybe even practically, musically or singing. Maybe you're talking about who's doing what parts, but also all those little things about the managing the band, booking the gigs, dealing with all the administration type stuff. What are those challenges like for you?
I would say that we do very well with those type of challenges. We all typically like to stay in our lane. So the creatives, they stay in their lane and write music, arrange music and such. The administrative folks, which is pretty much just me. So
Yeah.
it's easy for me to stay in my lane. And then from a music perspective, we all have our contributions because we've been doing this for years, right? So we all have our contributions and we all respect each other's sort of ideas and contributions in terms of like the music and what we need to do. And it's always a vibe when we get together, right? So we're always sort of locked in and able to sort of bounce off of each other. So the challenge is not so much in what we're doing and how we're going to get it done. It's just sort of bringing everybody together is often the challenge because everyone has their own separate lives.
Yeah. Now, GFM, you've got probably a different type of story to tell, but when it comes to the logistics and administration, how's that going for you girls?
Yeah, so we're very blessed to have our parents very involved with it, and so whenever we first were in like the initial stages of it, they were very much, not only like management side of things, but also like teaching us how to make those big decisions. And so now, as we've gotten older, we've been able to take more like responsibility for things. I've been able to really just kind of work and like shadow my mom and learn a lot of the like managerial decisions that are being made and like the booking and writing up contracts and stuff like that. And Lou's gotten really good at like video editing, and so we also like we not only are very avid about like supporting music and pushing ourselves through that, but also being very active on social media. And so we found that it just kind of like people just their jobs end up being theirs. Like it's never been an argument about, oh well, I want to do this but she wants to do this, and so we got to figure out who wants to do this. It always just ends up being, oh well, I know how to do this, so I can do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, where did you learn how to do that? I don't know, I just know it's easy to me. I just know how to do it. And so it's always just been that sort of thing where people just know that this is what like their role to do. And like even when we were deciding instruments to play and everything, it was just Sita was like, I want to play guitar. And we're like, why? Nobody in our family plays guitar. She's like, I don't know, I just want to play guitar.
Yeah.
And Lou was like, I want to play drums. And we're like, we've never met a person who plays drums. Like, how do you even know you want to play drums? She's like, I don't know, I just feel like I want to play drums. And so it's just always one of those things where it was kind of a gut feeling, and that's even been kind of transferred into like the more administrative side of things as well, with like video editing and the background work that goes into like finances and stuff like that. So it's always just been very much like that gut feeling, and we feel like God has placed our calling for each different area, and we've just been trying to be open to whoever's supposed to fill that role.
Just so before we move on, what about your merch and your creative side of things? How are you facilitating that? Your swag. Who's helping you with that?
So we're all very involved with coming up with ideas and stuff. And our dad is actually like such like a research nerd. Like he'll go and watch all these videos about like what's popular and what was popular like years ago, and if fashion is coming back around and stuff like that. And so we throw all of our ideas together and then have companies outside of us that can actually fulfill them, and graphic designers that can put our ideas into an actual image. And just
we
a
work
way to
with
do
several
that.
companies just to keep it lively.
Yeah.
We also like to keep our fans involved within our community, and they will give us feedback. And we have exclusive jerseys that we actually sell, and they sell out like instantly. And so we always are asking community's feedback, like, hey, like what do you guys want to see? Because there's no sense like not doing what they want. They're the ones who want the merch.
It's definitely a collaboration. I mean, it's like GFM said, when our kids were growing up, we actually had a pattern in our family where it was a drummer, guitar player, fiddle player, bass player, and then it started over again. And so as our older kids got married and moved out of the band, their next one in line came along, and we had a drummer and a guitar player and a fiddle player and a bass player again. So it was pretty cool how that all worked out. And it was definitely a God thing. And there was no argument on who did what. They just filled those positions as they were open. So we're very thankful for that.
Yeah.
No internal mentoring there going down the line. That you're gonna
there's
be the
definitely
next.
a lot of that. There's definitely that, and also, playing a lot of festivals and a lot of friends and groups. I mean, they learn just every day. They were learning from others who were better than them, learn how to play and learn how to improve, and so that definitely was helpful.
And administration wise, Duncan's kind of the
Manager.
manager.
Yeah. Yeah, I take care of all the booking and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, everybody, as well as, audio, visual, all that sort of stuff, is different ones in the group that have shown ability in that area. And that's where their interest is at. And so we just say run with it and go for it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I saw a video. I'm not sure. I think it's one of your music videos that actually was showing the different members of the family. Some of them were roadies, some of them were putting lights up, and some of them were like everyone was doing something. And I thought that was such a cool video.
Yeah, everyone has to be a roadie, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Kevin, how does it work for you guys? How do you know, how do you all decide who does what?
We just look at everyone's strengths, and afterwards I usually just say you're doing this or whatever. We have a good team. That's one thing I'm really proud of. My singers especially really step in to really help in the areas that I needed. Like I suck on social media. Like I'm just absolutely terrible. So they will pick up the slack in that area, and I'll get yelled at if something needs to be posted or whatever the case may be. In regards to management, my sister, as I said before, Lisa, she handles all the booking. She handles everything. She'll usually confer with me and Crystal, and then we go from there. But she handles everything. She's the one who talks to everybody. I used to do that years ago, and it was just a lot of stuff. I'm glad now that we're able to disperse certain things. That we're still growing in that area. We're not there yet, because we want to do this. We always aiming to get better at everything that we're doing, right? And so, even listening to everyone here, I'm just taking notes. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
Are you writing a Christmas song? Do you want it on our Christmas CD? This year, send us your song for your chance on the CD. Submission deadline July 31st, 2022. Family Christmas Volume 3, Christmas 2022.
Yes, and we are waiting for your songs. There are some coming. I've got a little glimpse of at least some people who have said they're sending their music in. So I can't wait till those songs come. But we want more. Bring them in.
Yes, it is going to be good. Can't wait. July 31st is the last date for the deadline for your submissions. GMIHub.ca.
Yep. Notice W10's grown some more. I love it.
Yes.
How many are there now? Is that 5 of you now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, 6 of you. Hi, everyone.
We're there right now. Okay, W10. Okay, tell me a little bit about those people who ain't in the group, but what is the relationship and support like with that?
Okay, so the support with that, we do have one of our sisters, a few of us that do decor and put kind of the style to the group together. So one of our sisters does that, and she has a company, El Decor, so she does events and coordinates and stuff like that for events. So she usually helps us with coordination of style, putting ourselves together, sassing up the place. If we deal with an event space that is an open canvas, so she would decor it and put it all together for us so that we're actually promoting ourselves and promoting our brand. As well, our father as well, he's an amazing, amazing supporter. He supports us in the way he can. He's very, very old school. So it's always about the anointing, about the Holy Ghost, about God. So he makes sure we when it comes to that. So he definitely prays behind the scenes. And he always gives us open criticism. So when he does see us perform, he's usually not there in the present, but when he does see videos and stuff like that, he always critiques us and he lets us know, oh, we should have did this, oh, we should have had more anointing, we need like this, and make sure God is in it. So he keeps us in mind. So those are our main supports that are not.
That's cool.
You gotta have a dad like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kevin, you sound like you relate the way you're doing that.
Oh yeah, man. My mom's the same way, man. Critique everything. Why you stand like that? Why you looking like that? For?
Yeah.
You have to make sure you lift your hands. Oh my goodness me. Yeah. I know exactly what they're saying.
Duncan and GFM, do you have that as well? Do you have family members that sit there and go, you should have done and should have had?
Yeah, my dad was definitely old school as well. He just passed away the last about 2 years ago. But other than that, our family is all involved. Our children and our family are involved in the group. And so at some point in the night, we're going to have everybody on stage. And so they're all involved in those areas. And
That's
sound
awesome.
man, of course, sound man is number one. So we have that as well.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Right. So GFM.
What about, yes,
were saying?
GFM, ladies, talk to us.
Yes, like we were saying earlier, our parents are super involved, and they're very much like everyone else was saying. It's definitely big critiquers, but we love them and like we want them to do that. And also, like the other band was saying, our sound guy, super important. And we like to keep our main core group like to believe all the same things, because if your team is unequally or why can't I speak unequally yoked, it definitely can affect you. And because of our mission is our main goal, we wanted to keep like our techs, our sound man, a lot of the people that we involve into it to believe that. And so, but our sound man, Mr. Isaac, he is one of the biggest like Jesus followers out there that we know. And so it's always really encouraging to be like one of their main important people on your team that make you sound good. He's also one of our biggest like prayer warriors and biggest believers in us to push us to do what we love, which is sharing the gospel. So yeah, it's definitely very important, the people outside of the band as well.
Yeah, we have a brother too, and so he used to run merch for us as well, but he's getting married, so I think he's going to have to give up his merch man role pretty soon.
No, his wife is going to come and help.
Yes, that's right. Both of them are going to be doing that, yeah.
You know, that is so powerful. And I love the fact that you mentioned your sound guys. You know, it's so often people who are faces that face the faces, the people that are on stage, sometimes don't seem to recognize what happens behind the scenes, and you know the countless hours that your tech guys go through. I know of it because my husband is the tech guy in our family, and he's actually running the show right now. And speaking of families, our boys sometimes get involved as well. So we have one boy that has adopted the tech side, and so he sometimes helps on the tech side. And we have another boy who takes after mommy and loves to sing. So he sometimes gets on stage and starts helping to sing as well. So we can kind of relate to what you're saying too. So I'm also taking notes, Kevin. I'm also taking notes. I'm curious about, how do you support, like you have family. Like I love the fact that you said that you have adults that are around you, or like family members that are around you that pray over you or that support you behind the scenes. But how do you support one another?
I think a major thing is continue to have those like little meetings, so you can check up with each other, because you don't realize how like a little situation where it could be little to you could, like something that you said could affect like Maggie or Lulu or someone in the team majorly, and you didn't realize it. So having that communication we've always promote is such an amazing thing, checking up that way on each other, so it doesn't lead into something bigger, because you can't effectively minister to people if you have like something in the camp that's hindering it, because God's not going to let you to be effective if you're not effective yourself, or if I could say spiritual, like clean yourself. So I think that's one of our biggest things that like points out to me.
Very good point. Communication is key. Absolutely. How about for other families?
Well, I think you know each other the best, right? And so you can pick up on things that other people might not be able to pick up on, and be quick to say, hey, what's happening, or be able to respond to that. So I think that's a great thing with the family dynamics is you're around each other, you know each other so well that you can pick up on those things.
Kevin, W10, what are your thoughts? How do you support one another?
Well, for me, my singers and my team, we're all family. Like that's how I wanted this to be. And so I usually give, even before rehearsals, an opportunity for everyone to just have that type of communion or communication with one another. We even do outings and everything like that to just keep the team tight. Like that's more important to me than just all of us being on the stage and singing all the time, because I believe in a cohesive unit, and I believe that we, of course, we have to keep God first, but as well, we are brother's keeper, right? And anybody who's going through something, we need to be there for them. We just came through something that was extremely difficult, which was COVID-19. We lost lives. Lives have been shifted, transformed, and sometimes you just don't know what somebody's going through, and to give that opportunity for them to express themselves and to express themselves is very important. So I try to do that before every rehearsal. Like we have a rehearsal today, and we have a rehearsal in about a month, and so that's the first thing that's going to happen, right? Because again, we just need to be on the same page, and everybody has stories to share, right? And they need to let that out. And even with my family, we're really good at communicating, no matter how it sounds. So, I think it's always just giving that opportunity to express themselves and communicate.
Well, actually, Kevin, you brought up something that made me think of whenever I was working with a band and up in East End Scarborough. We did this thing every get together for band practice. We would have a social time where it would be like pizza, pop. We would sit, we'd hang, we'd chat, we'd do the fellowship thing, because I think you're right. When you get to know somebody, I mean, we weren't family, but we were hanging out a lot together, getting to know each other, and you can always be there for each other and just be real. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
W10.
And food always wins.
Oh yeah,
food always wins. I love it. W10, how do you support one another?
Hello.
Hi.
For W10, we are practically sick of each other. We see each other all the time. We go to the same church. We relate to each other. It's a lot. We see each other all the time. We're in the same groups. We have the same Facebook friends. We can't get rid of each other at all. So we're kind of forced to speak to each other almost every single day. But it's good. We definitely communicate literally every day, like I said. We also do, when it comes to our brand and our craft, we try to have workshops every other month where we can come together and really just see if anybody has anything new, any new ideas, anything that we could put towards our next album or songs that are to come. So yeah, we definitely try to keep it all together for the most part. I mean, I was just at your house the other day, so we definitely communicate all the time, and communication is vital.
That sounds like what you're doing is being accountable to each other, and that is just that's the bottom line, right? And that's
right.
Well, isn't the motto, the family that prays together stays together, or plays together stays together? Is that the motto?
Plays together stays together. That works.
That was actually the title to our first single that we released, so we definitely live by that creed, for sure.
Oh, really? That's awesome. I know that we have another commercial, or kind of a commercial, coming up of an event that is popping up that I wanted to talk about. I just want to bring that up before I forget it, because I'm seeing the time, of something that's happening this Thursday. Speaking of families and getting together and community and communication, that is something that we're offering to artists all across the time zones. So if you want to connect with us on Thursday, June the 9th, which is this coming Thursday, at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, it's an opportunity to be a part of Talk Thursday, which is, again, a chance to get together and just be a part of a community. You're hearing the families talk today, and this is a chance to, if you don't feel like you have family or support, this is a chance to gain one. So feel free to come and join us. You have to register at gmihub.ca/talk Thursday in order to get the connection details. So
Yeah.
back to the families. I feel like I'm going to start citing the Brady Bunch really soon. But back to the families. I'm curious now about family dynamics when you're not singing, when you're not on stage. What is life like when you're not on stage, when you're not singing? What is life like? I know W10 kind of hinted at it.
Yeah,
they're always together. They're always together. But I'm really, really curious. What are the dynamics when you guys aren't on stage, when you don't have to think about music? What's it like? What's it like? Let's start with GFM. What is it like for you guys when you're not on stage and you don't have to think about music or anything like that? Vacation time. What's it like?
That doesn't happen. There is no really vacation.
Okay.
And it's not really ever, because this is not only our job but also a passion and what we feel we're called to do. We put 110% into it, and so we don't just do music. We do social media. We do YouTube vlogs. We do streaming. We do literally everything. Plus, a lot of it is run by us, so it is a lot of work, but we're willing to do it, and we don't ever really complain about it because it's what we enjoy doing. It's what we want to pursue, and so. A lot of people think oh, you're in a band, you don't even work, and it's well, you don't ever really stop working. But if you're not on stage playing music, you're writing music, you're recording, you're going out to eat with potential producers, you're making contacts, you're going to other festivals to market yourself. So it is a lot of work, and we do always hang out together because we do live together still, and so. We get to see each other every day and work with each other, which we're really grateful for. And we know that, if you're not working with a band, you're going to be working in a 9 to 5. So it's might as well enjoy what you're doing and enjoy what you're working. So
I think, sorry to cut you off. I think a major thing that pulls me from this question is how we had to learn to be normal, quote unquote, say, because we grew up into this. And so how we know how to function was how we put on this face to perform, how we put on this major act. And so when we're off stage, it's how do I be normal? How who is CJ? Who is Maggie? And who is Lulu? Mm-hmm. And we're still figuring that out today. And it's trying to find ourselves and not just be, oh my word, you're this person that plays guitar. And it's okay, no, you're CJ and this is your individual person. So it's finding who we are, trying to slow down life. And like Lou was saying, we work constantly. So it's trying to find those little things where it's to enjoy each other as sisters and not as coworkers and not as GFM. So it's finding that those small spaces to kind of find.
Luckily, we have the same interest in almost everything. And so when it comes to movies, if there's a new movie coming out and it's got superheroes involved, we're all gonna go see it. If there's a new anime coming out, we're gonna go watch it as soon as we can. We play video games together, and so we find ways to incorporate that into stuff like streaming as well. And so it's not we are doing music all the time. We're able to incorporate more of our hobbies, and so we're able to do some of that as well. And so if you're already doing it during a stream, when that stream is over, you're oh, well, I guess I can play a little bit longer, and so we can just hang out as sisters playing games and stuff. And so it's just we live together, and so we literally do everything together. And so it's kind of what don't we do?
Yeah.
So I want to ask this other question. You literally do everything together, ladies. What about praying and devotions? Do you guys do that as well, or is that you do all that together too? Or is that more individual?
We actually have a Patreon where we get to do Bible studies with our Patreons, and so they get exclusive lives and merch drops and show announcements, but they also get to do Bible studies with us. And so that's kind of a time where we all get together and we will do those and share those. It's not so much a Bible study, but a discussion, and it's just an open communication, because we do have a lot of fans in the general market, and we do have a lot of people that don't believe the same thing that we do, and we welcome all those people. And we always have the mindset that we're not going to shove what we believe down your throat, because that's not going to get anyone anywhere, and we wouldn't want that done to us. So we just have an open discussion about what we believe and what we believe is true, and we're going to share that because we believe it's true. But if you don't agree with that, like, that's okay. And if you want to come hang out at the study and ask questions, and even if you like prove with biblical proof that we're wrong, like, go for it. And like, we want to have those open discussions and have those, like, not debates, but just discussions with people that don't believe what we believe. Because if you just shy away from everyone and you're only like, well, I'm just going to talk to the people that believe the same thing I do, you're closing off so much learning that you could do. You're closing off other people in this world. And we just believe that Jesus called us to speak with everyone and to invite everyone to belong. And so we have those like Bible devotions together, and then we do pray before every show. We pray when
Our
we
dad,
leave for tour.
he makes sure that's what I really love about him. Before each show, he's calling we have our group chat. We have several group chats between like our individual family, our big team, and he's like, okay, we're gonna pray. We need to fight. We're gonna schedule this right now. Everyone needs to run here and go to pray before we do our show, because if we don't pray before our show, it like throws us all off.
Yeah. So we get to do that together, and then we all attend like church services, and we're very vocal about our faith just within our family, because it truly is like our driving passion for life. And we believe like if you're a Christian, it should be the reason you're here. It should be the reason that you're going out and talking to people. And it's not just with the band that we strive to pray with people and speak with people, but like even at the grocery store, just like asking people for prayer, asking, just even making the stance of like, hey, how's your day been? Because that can make a complete difference in their life. And so we like genuinely strive, and that is the core of our band, and it's why we believe it's gotten as far as it has, because it has the power of Christ behind it. And we don't shy away from our faith. We say it from the stage, and we'll sit at our merch table till the last person is gone to pray with them and just be with them and encourage them. So I think it's a very important thing for our band, and we have to make sure we are spiritually good before we leave for tour, because it is taxing, it is hard, especially because you're pouring yourself out to all these people and you're letting Christ speak through you, and it can get very exhausting spiritually. So we want to make sure we're all fed and ready to go before we leave, and with each other fed and encouraging each other and just being there for each other, because you truly do need that bond. And because we are family, we have that bond. Like we already have it built in kind of. So just making sure that it stays strong, and not only our bond together as a family, but with Christ.
Yeah. Amen. Well said.
Beautiful. Oh, that's so beautiful. Awesome. That is so awesome. Oh, I have a big smile on my face. I love it. Duncan, you were about to say something. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna. Yeah, we have the family chat as well, but with our 10 children, I found that the older ones really help mentor the younger ones. They, growing up on the road and in the bus, they are best friends. And so, especially one of the things is musically, like our older ones are all involved in music. And now a couple of our boys are playing in a country band, and then another one's leading worship. So he'll have his younger siblings come over and play with him. And so always teaching them and mentoring them and training them. And so I've seen them just go in leaps and bounds, improving because of that. And
it always warms my heart when I see Duncan with all of the boys and everybody setting up. That's kind of like their time to like chat and banter, and they just have so much fun. I mean, unless we're like cutting it close to service. But it's always a great, I don't know, just it's that family camaraderie has been really a great thing to have.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. And of course, prayer, devotion, all of that stuff happens with your family. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we have a list in our bus. It has who's going to pray and who's going to read for the day, and it's I think it's in crayon on a big sheet of paper. But yeah, it happens every day.
That's your granddaughter doing that one. Okay. I don't know which one to do next. As Kevin, talk to us.
Well, outside of the ministry stuff, me and my wife, of course, we go on dates. We still date, have to. And for the kids, we actually just went camping this past weekend. We went up north and we went camping, and the kids loved it. It was pretty tough on me because I'm still recovering from my injuries, but the joy of seeing your family doing something that we usually don't do, but they enjoyed it. It was great. So I try to really enforce the family time. I'm big on family time. Certain things can be set aside because our family needs to grow, and we have small children growing up, and I'm their superhero and their mom, so we have to be the examples, and of course, do things by the leading of the Spirit. Um, always has to be prayer time, and there always has to be a devotional time. But one thing I could say with my team, and I said this about my mother being the prayer warrior of the team, when she calls prayer meeting, there's prayer meeting.
I
And
love how
it
you
is
said
prayer
that.
meeting. Right?
Yeah.
She's
W10 knows
probably
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Prayer meeting.
Meeting.
So like and I'm really grateful for that, because those are the examples that we grew up on, we need, and we're just passing it down to our children, and it just continue on throughout. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. W10, can you relate? life outside of being on stage and music.
Yes, so back here, I don't know if you can see me.
Hey, yes, we can see you.
Yes, so life outside of ministry, as my sister reiterated earlier. So we're super duper close knit. We see each other every Sunday. We do have a family group. So if anybody ever says, let's have a barbecue. Let's go to the headquarters. We come, everybody brings something to put on the grill. If you can't go on the grill, it goes on the stove. If you can't go on the stove, it goes in the oven. And we eat, we have a good time. Family dinners on Sundays, family days. And our tradition is every time we get together and pray, we sing our single, A Family That Prays. All right, so go ahead and go get that on Spotify. But yeah, we see each other all the time, but we're super duper intentional with the time that we get with each other. Yeah, we're just a praying family, loving family, and from my grandfather, their father, the same precept that he set in them has trickled down the family lineage. So I'm grateful for that.
And I want to just chime into that. Surprisingly, even when we're on stage and we're ministering, even when we're off stage, we're still singing for some reason. We can't stop singing. Somebody can open the door a type of way, and then that particular sound brings up a beat, and then by the time you know it, we're doing 3-part harmony. Somebody brought in some baritone here and there, so we're always singing. And, just I have to speak about this. I have become an aunt. So my brother and his wife have just had their child. He's about 3 months now. And I even find that now, as the second generation, bringing forth that third generation, we're trying to instill that in him. So maybe he's tired of us, but we've been singing to him from he came out the womb. We put him to bed. So, we constantly always are exercising our craft. We're always singing, always finding little things. We're like, ooh, we should try that. We should put it in this. We should put it with that. And Sundays, for sure, always a big thing. It's full production. Even if we have 2 pieces of the band, no keys, even if we just have the bass player, best believe that you are getting a full performance, full show. Even if there's one person in praise and worship, it is a full show. Down, drop the mic, and that's just how we are. We can do things off the fly, and I think that's another thing too, because we're so good at doing things off the fly, which is, it could be annoying sometimes, just knowing that we can do it, but we can put anything together because of the gift that we have. So that's pretty much what we do.
I love the fact that you had that chance, chance to sing. But Kevin and I both agree, it's the food, man. That's cool.
That's the common denominator, food.
Yeah, you said it. I just have one, just to wrap up our time together. I just want to be mindful of our time. There's one question I like to ask for all of you to think about. We may have said it before, and that's okay as well. There's one piece of advice you would give to a family that was doing a music ministry, and they're venturing into the music ministry. What's the one word of advice advice you would give to, and anybody can answer.
Well, I think from
Be
a
slow to anger.
Be slow to anger.
That's a good one.
JC, yeah. CJ says
Music
slow to
industry, I
anger.
feel like pulls such like the pettiness from you, and I don't know, it's just because you get really upset if someone says that your idea is like not good, or that you created this and this is your baby, and it just gets thrown to the side, or I don't know, it can be anything. And so just having that grace and that slow to anger with each other, it exceeds boundaries of
I would
like
add
helping
just
in the
definitely
future.
keep family first as well, because you can get to a point where you're working so much that your family becomes your coworkers, and then you view them as your coworkers, and that's when relationships get torn and they get severed.
Yeah.
And so definitely keep
Wow.
keep your family aspect in mind, and find those days where you can take off days, and so you spend the day solely as a family. You don't spend it doing band work, you don't spend it doing music, you don't even talk about it, like phones are off, social media is not a thing that day, and you just go out and you be a family together. Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the
Duncan.
two things I would say is to be faithful, because the Lord always is faithful. To be faithful to your calling, and the other thing would be is to be authentic on and off stage. Be the same in both places.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's kind of the same thing. Just know what to. I separate the two in the sense of I try not to allow some certain parts of the ministry stuff to trickle into the relationship. Like my wife and I, for example, she's the vocal director of the team, on some things I may not like, and she might get upset with me if when I voice that. So we try to keep it separate, because if it gets into the relationship aspect, or when rehearsal's over, she might still be mad at me, or whatever the case. You don't necessarily want that. So it's a work in progress to keep them separate. Like even when I work my other job, because I work with youth with special needs, right? As soon as I leave work, I leave it at the door, and then I'm a dad, right? And so I try to apply that even when I'm dealing with VP. When we're done with that, okay, I'm with my family now.
Compartmentalize in some ways. Family is family, ministry is ministry.
I mean, some stuff gets in it, because 3 o'clock in the morning, my wife will nudge me and she'll be like, "I have a song," right? And afterwards, like, "Oh, okay." But like, I'm just talking about like things that could cause tension. Nah, just leave it there. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Don't go to sleep angry. That's what I'm hearing from you, Kevin.
Yeah, we have, sometimes it can get that way, but we just, again, we're working. It's been years. We're not perfect at it now, but we're getting there. But we leave the ministry stuff there, and now it's husband and wife.
Awesome.
How are you doing today, baby?
Yeah. W10. She's probably watching you now, going, "Yeah, speak it." W10, talk to us.
Yeah, I think for us, one of the encouragements we'll give anybody, any family group out there wants to get started, or maybe on the road to ministry and music, is a foundation of prayer. We strongly believe that, with our own experience, we have many people come to us and say, "We don't know how you guys are doing it. Over the past 4 years or so, you guys have been through so much trauma." And we can honestly stand on stage and minister because of the value of prayer that was instilled in us from when we were young children. And our father and mother did a great job with, teaching us how to pray, and teaching us how to summon, the power of God in our lives, and to really invoke that spirit on us when we go out to sing, when we're in our normal lives. And we know that through tests come the testimony, and you can only get that revelation when you have a strong foundation under prayer. So that's the thing, I think, from a W10 perspective, that we definitely want to encourage all artists, and even if you're not an artist, you want to get involved with music, build your music on a strong foundation of prayer, so that when things go wrong, when those tests come in to create that testimony, you'll be able to pray yourself through it and be successful on the other end.
Amen.
That's beautiful.
That's right. Amen.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't want to stop the conversation, Dale.
I know. You know what I was thinking, Cheryl? It's something you mentioned that this has been a good conversation because I feel like each one of these different groups of individuals may have a different demographic or different concert or even different styles of music, but yet there's something that just seems to be permeating through the whole thing. There's every answer seems they agree with each other, and I think that if you're listening to this and you're a group of family members who are singing together, you could also resonate with this. So it's been a really good conversation, and I've enjoyed having each one of you here, and I appreciate your time so much. It's meant so much to us.
Yes, and there may be artists that are watching that don't have family like these families, like sisters and dads and husbands and wives and siblings. That you may not have that, but guess what? There is an extended family. I hope, and I wanted to ask this question about the church family as well. There's an extended family that's here for you. And, if you feel like, yeah, where is that family? Well, you can adopt us, if you want, we can be your extended family because, GMIHub is here to encourage you in your walk, in your career as well. And our motto is encouraging unity, community, mentorship, and talent growth. And again, we are taking steps to doing that. One of these ways is what we're doing right now, is having panel discussions with people that maybe you can relate to us, that can talk to you about, in this case, about family and touring and life as being in the forefront. I mean, I look at all of you as all of these families as being on the forefront. If I can use the example, I'm going to use this example. When I think of singers and musicians, I think of Second Chronicles, where when Jehoshaphat's army was faced with several armies coming against them, and he prayed, God, I don't know what to do, so we're calling on you. And literally, he was guided to say, okay, get your army up, but make sure the singers go first. And then the instrumentalists go first, or go next. And then you can bring your frontline army people. Well, of course, when the singers went forth and the instrumentalists went forth, the next line didn't have to do anything because the armies that were going to go against them ended up going against one another. So the war was fought and they had to do nothing. And I look at that and I go, there's so many of us that are called to use our giftings because we are called to be in the forefront. We are called to be in the fringes or to reach out to the fringes and proclaim the gospel in a creative way. And as I said at the beginning, all of us, all of the families that we have here, they all portray the gospel message. They wrap it in a different style of music, but they all portray the gospel message. And that's what's so beautiful about this. And as families, they support one another. They have people around them that support them. And I love the fact that they make a point of surrounding themselves with people who are strong in the faith with them so that they can be effective in what they're doing. All of them are like Moses like Moses with Aaron, and like they have their Aaron and they have their Joshua lifting their hands. All of them have that, and you can have that too, even if you're on your own. We are starting that this Thursday. We have something called Talk Thursday. That is our way of, that's our first step, if you want to call it, where we can actually come and meet you at where you're at. You would have to register for that at gmihub.ca/Talk Thursday. You see it on the flyer here. And we'd love to have you join us and just talk. It's an open forum. It's a chance for you to share your thoughts, your struggles, or your wins. Just a chance to share with us and talk with us. And it's going to be here with Glenn Dumontel. He is a music career coach out of Langley, BC. And he's probably watching tonight. So I hope I'm doing a good job, Glenn. But he's gonna be there, and I'm gonna be there as well. And we're just here. We just want to be your listening ears. We want to just encourage you as well, families. GFM, the double portion, which is the Hammerling family, Kevin and Voices of Praise, W10, we love you. Thank you so much for your ministries, for everything that you guys do. We will hold you guys up in prayer as well. We think it's awesome what you are doing. And again, I see you as being in the forefront and for the armies behind you. You know, churches, I hope, are grateful for everything that you are doing. And, you know, we salute you. You know? Okay.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank everybody at home for watching today. We really appreciate you being here with us. If this is your first time watching, please hit the subscribe and let us know by hitting the thumbs up and hit the notification bell, and we'll get a notification next time we upload a video. And we thank you so much for being with us. It's been a real pleasure to be with you, and we hope that you tune in for more shows as we move forward, encouraging unity, community, leadership, and talent growth.
Good night. Bless you.